So I received an email from my friend Guy Newland, who's a professor at Central Michigan University, and he had received an email from somebody who's a Dharma student, and he sent it to me asking, how I would respond to this, and it's what this person is asking is a question that often comes up, so I thought it would be very helpful to, make a BBC out of it. So the question is, why do you think Buddhist teachers deny their attainments? For instance, Lama Yeshe and Lama Zopa Rinpoche used to describe their teachings as Mickey Mouse teachings. Many teachers call themselves lazy and so forth. Other teachers who obviously have an encyclopedic knowledge and many decades of practice claim to have little or no realization and experience. As an interesting juxtaposition, students usually go the other way and claim that their teachers are highly realized beings. Okay, so here's the questions. So do the teachers do this because they're trying to set an example to their students to be modest? It's a tradition. They are afraid of generating grasping and clinging for an inflated ego. They see their own teachers act this way and wish to emulate them, or some other reason. I say this because, from the student's perspective, I find all that to be insincere, literally dishonest and depressing, because they're denying their realizations. And here's his reason why. If my teacher, upon whom I am relying for instruction, direction, and even empowerments, claims that after 50 years of study, contemplation, and meditation, they have no actual realizations, it makes me wonder how someone like myself could possibly achieve anything worthwhile. Good question. Contrast that with the tantric teachings that say enlightenment is possible even in a single lifetime, and the denials seem even more implausible. Personally, I find it unsettling when I hear my teachers in self-deprecation mode. I'm curious if you have a similar reaction and what your thoughts on this are. So, good questions. Yeah, many people have this. So interestingly, I respond in the opposite way when I hear my teachers be humble. Yeah, because to me, it indicates that they're keeping their precepts well, they're not looking for offerings and a little group of groupies following them around, going Lama. Um, that the teachers are really sincere and focusing on their own practice. So that inspires me. Okay, but why do the teachers do this, and are they lying? Okay, I don't think they're lying, because whatever level of realization somebody might have, until you're a Buddha, there's always people who have more realizations. So if our teachers are saying, I have no realization, it's from the perspective of where they are now, looking up to what they still have to develop. Okay, so they're not lying, saying they have no realizations, but they are keeping their precepts, because for monastic precepts, if you lie about your spiritual realizations and claim to have realizations that you don't have, that's a root downfall, and you are no longer a monastic. You're out. From the perspective of the Bodhisattva precepts, the first root Bodhisattva precept is praising oneself and denigrating others out of desire for offerings and respect. Yeah. And even So there, with the first one, you have to have the motivation of craving offerings and respect. You want to be somebody, yeah? And so you have your big offering bowl there, you know. Um, and also one of the auxiliary bodhisattva vows is talking about your spiritual attainments, even what you're saying is true, but for the reason of anger or uh, arrogance. Okay, so somebody who's denying anything is being very low key. They're protecting their own mind, making sure that that their own desire for fame and reclaim and to have people look at you and talk, claim wonderful things about you when you're not around. Um, it shows that those teachers aren't interested in that. You know, they don't really care about their motivation. They're not going to lie about it and claim to have things they don't have. And even if they have realizations, they're not going to talk about them because, uh, you know, it could be dangerous for their own practice and stimulate them to have arrogance or to want attention. Yeah. And and you see this with you know, some practitioners I who I often call the chai shop gurus. Yeah, they go to one. This is in the case of Westerners. They go to one or two meditation courses, and then in the chai shop in India, they expound the Dharma to whoever comes, claiming to have, you know, uh, they know all the Buddha's teachings after two meditation courses, and they saw lights and they saw, you know, they felt like they were leaving their body or the Buddha was descending into them or this kind of stuff, you know. It's great for chai shop, you know, people buy you a few extra cups of tea that way. Oh, and then they'll go around town and say, hey, this guy, you know, he went to a meditation course and now he's almost realized emptiness. Good luck. Um, okay. So then the other thing is, if teachers did declare their realization, what would students do? It isn't, I don't think, that all students would be invigorated to practice more because they see the example of their teacher. I think people would just I think people would just bow down and worship the teachers. Okay, so I have this image of, you know, one of my teachers in Times Square and talking about his realizations, and then everybody in Times Square bowing down, you know, and tossing money right, left, and center because here's this magnificent person who, yeah, is Buddha or almost Buddha. Yeah, we had somebody called, there was Dorji Chong II who was around. There was also a Maitreya Buddha in California, you know. And if with Maitreya Buddha, if you gave him all your money, then you would be, you know, guaranteed to be reborn at the time of Maitreya Buddha. Okay, so people who, you know, see some kind of figure that appears glittering, then they want to worship. They don't want to practice. Yeah. Hearing teachings, putting effort into really controlling your mind, bowing down and worshiping, making money offerings so that you can have a picture signed by the guru. Woo! Yeah, here's here's my guru, you know, who has 10th Bhumi Bodhisattva. And look, he took a picture with me next to him, and I was just tingling. And he signed the picture with my name. Yeah. So, I mean, that's what people would do. Because ordinary people, you know, are not, the idea of actually transforming your mind, subduing your afflictions, it's too hard. People just want something easy. Yeah. So I think that's what would happen. I don't think people would be so encouraged. Um, and I think another reason why they say they don't have attainments, and this regards what this person said about Indra. It says you can become enlightened in one lifetime. They don't tell you the next sentence, which is you in previous lives, many previous lives, you've purified, accumulated merit, developed the bodhisattva practices. You worked really hard for eons and eons in previous life. Then in this life, you enter the tantric vehicle, and that's your last life, and you attain enlightenment in that one life. Okay? So, people think that's what that quote means. I actually asked His Holiness about that one time, and he said that's just propaganda, propaganda for Tantra. You know, he says you have to practice for a long time to get to that point where you attain awakening in that one life. So I think, teachers are not lying. They're indicating to their students it takes effort, it takes time. You've got to be really sincere and don't let your ego take the ball and run with it and think that you had some meditation experience and so you're like really close to enlightenment. I mean, our mind is a really funny kind of thing, and everybody has strange experiences in meditation from time to time. Yeah, I remember when I was a beginner and I thought, oh, now I know what the subtle mind is. I had heard the term subtle mind. Oh, now I know what it is. It wasn't subtle mind, it was subtle gossip. Yeah. So, the teachers are I mean, they show the aspect of being humble to safeguard their own practice and also as a model for us, the students, so that we don't, start thinking that we're big something. And also, because another way the students get a little bit of buzz and reputation is to claim that they're the students of these highly realized lamas, yeah. And so it's cutting out a lot of that arrogance and it's just bringing people back to earth and let's be practical. And it's the practice that is the important thing, not worshiping a teacher. Yeah, they always say Dharma is the real refuge, and that's what we have to practice. So I hope that will uh, help this person and answer some of the questions they have, which are very good questions.